An 18-year-old who police say threatened students at his former high school in Boulder has bonded out of jail. A judge ordered GPS monitoring for the teenager.
90's reporter Jordan Chavez is joining us now. And Jordan, parents have questions and concerns about this.
Yeah, Gary and Corey, good morning to you. Mostly about why it took so long for them to learn that this was even happening. Boulder police say the night before the 18-year-old was arrested, he posted concerning images and quotes online that indicated a credible threat to students at Fairview High School. A spokesperson for Boulder Valley School District said officials learned about the threat from a safe to tell tip around 8:30 Wednesday morning. That first message went out to parents around 10:17, and it was also shared on Facebook and Twitter. Among the students named in that threat were Amy Riley's kids. She says even they don't understand why they were targeted. On Monday, a judge ordered the suspect to wear a GPS monitor and to stay away from the school and the people he reportedly threatened. Amy, though, wonders how that's all going to work.
I'm still waiting to hear from the DA's office on who gets the data and how often it happens and what his restrictions are based on where he's allowed to go. Is he just supposed to be in his house? Can he have that GPS monitor on and go down to Pearl Street? We live about 2 miles from his house. There's nothing really stopping him from walking down the street. And that is true for a lot of the families and the victims.
The school district admitted that while communication that day may have been delayed, the responses by law enforcement were immediate. A spokesperson for the district, though, says they are looking at ways they can send these messages out much sooner, guys.
Yeah, the faster they can get those to parents, the better for sure.
Yeah.
Jordan, thank you. Some new information about that deadly shooting at a house party in Adams County. Deputies now say the home where the teenager was shot and killed over the weekend was a short-term rental. More than 100 people were at this house party near 70th Avenue and Broadway early Sunday morning when someone started shooting. Deputies say an 18-year-old died and 2 other teenagers were hurt. It's not clear who was hosting the party, and they're still looking for suspects. The Adams County Sheriff's Office says the home was a short-term rental, like an Airbnb or VRBO. Now, this is not the first time a teenager has died in connection with a party at this house. A lawsuit claims someone fired a gun during another house party last summer. 16-year-old Hugo Carrion died and 5 other people were hurt. Carrion's family is now suing the owner of the house, claiming they were negligent for allowing it to be used for a party where kids were served alcohol.
Sunday shooting happened almost exactly a week after a separate shooting at another house party. That one was also in Adams County and also involved teenagers. Situations like this are part of a bigger trend. Jason McBride works with kids as a violence interruption specialist. He works at a Denver area nonprofit. He says that recent shootings match a pattern over the past 5 or 6 years. There tends to be more youth violence when schools reopen in the fall.
I mean, you got a lot of parents who are working. You know, you have a lot of kids who are unsupervised. You have a lot of kids who had beef during the summer, and that just carries over.
McBride says he does not see an end to this trend of youth violence until root causes are addressed. He points specifically to various socioeconomic issues and a lack of equity and resources in our school systems.
Right now, early in-person voting is happening at more than 350 voting centers across Colorado. The first day was yesterday. If you want to vote by mail, you have until Monday, Halloween, to send your ballot to make sure it gets in on time. Or you can drop it into any drop box before Election Day on November 8th. One of the races on your ballot is Colorado's Secretary of State, and last night the 2 candidates debated here on 9 News.
Yeah, they are the current Democratic Secretary of State Jenna Griswold and Republican Pam Anderson. Political reporter Marshall Zellinger fact-checked some of the claims that they made.
An interview from the newspaper The Guardian begins our snap truth test of the debate between Democratic Secretary of State Jenna Griswold and Republican challenger Pam Anderson.
It drives your partisan rhetoric. Things like when you told The Guardian, I believe that if you vote Republican on the outcome of an election, that United States Americans would lose their right to vote within 3 months.
I never said what she just tried to put words in my mouth. And if you go back and pull the quote, it said many Americans could lose the right to vote and our fundamental freedoms are at risk in several months.
Here is that article, which we reported on at the end of August. The flashy headline, the U.S. could lose the right to vote. Griswold's claim, extreme Republicans would strip Americans of the right to vote. No, the country is not losing its right to vote. But voting restrictions are happening. The Brennan Center for Justice tracks new restrictive voting laws across the country. Policies like adding ID requirements or limiting mail ballot options. They count 20 states with restrictive voting laws in effect for November's election. Restrictive does not mean losing the right to vote. The Brennan Center also counts 11 states that expanded voting laws this year, including 4 states with Republican secretaries of state. Another disagreement during our debate was over a 2019 state bill that added voting options in Colorado.
I worked with our legislature to lead a law that increased drop boxes. It guaranteed access on public universities and tribal lands. It increased in-person voting. And in 2019, you testified against the bill and you tried to kill it.
My opponent dropped a bill that no election official in the state had seen, that cost millions and millions of dollars and could not be implemented. 61 of the county clerks across the state opposed the bill, and it was my job to go to the table.
3 years ago, Anderson was the head of the County Clerks Association, and she did testify against the bill during its first committee hearing in the House, and then interviewed with me a week later.
The issue is, does this solution fit the problem?
She told me her concern was the cost of new in-person voting centers instead of technology to speed up the check-in process. Did she try to kill it? No, because by the time the bill got to the Senate and amended with county clerk input, her position went from opposed, meaning against the bill, to neutral. Marshall Zellinger, 9 News.
Our series of 6 televised debates going to wrap up on Friday night. Democratic Senator Michael Bennet and Republican challenger Joe O'Dea will debate. It'll be right here on Channel 9 at 7 p.m. And if you missed any of the debates so far, you can find them on our website, our mobile app, or on 9 News Plus.